Hi, my name's Madeline Preston, and I'm going to be going over Chapter 11, which is Categories of Type. There are 6 categories. We have Old Style, Modern, Slab Serif, Sans Serif, Script, and Decorative. So the first styles were based on hand lettering of scribes, and they're called Old Style. So with Old Style, there's always serifs, and the serifs on the lowercase letters are always at a diagonal angle, which you can see here at the top of the D and the L. There's a moderate thick to thin transition of the letters. So you see here with the O at the very top, it's a little bit thinner than at the sides, and then it creates a diagonal stress. So where the thinness is, creates a diagonal. So a perfect example is going to be the Times font. Old style fonts are typically used in novels or texts where it's a lot of text for someone to read. Next we have the modern style. So the vertical stress is created instead of a diagonal stress because the thin to thick transition is at the tops. We also see a more radical thick to thin transition. When you see here the M is much thinner here than here. The O is thicker on the sides than at the top and bottom. We also see that the serifs are horizontal, so there's no longer diagonal, which was what we saw on the old style. So modern font is very elegant, but it's not typically used for extended text. Next is slab serif. So slab serif does have similarities to modern. We see another vertical stress happening, and we also see serifs being horizontal instead of diagonal at the top of the B and the L. But we also see very little transition of thick to thin on the letters. Basically, the font has just been thickened. So it's mostly just thick all the way around, very little transition happening. And this kind of font is usually used in children's books because it's just so clean and straightforward. Next is sans serif. So in French, sans means without, so there are no serifs anywhere on a sans serif font. We also see that there's no really thick to thin transition happening with the letters, and because of that, there's no stress. So there's no stress occurring within the font because all of the letters are the same width around. A perfect example is one of Mr. Rios' favorite fonts, Helvetica, a super famous font. And again, we're just not seeing any hats or anything on our letters, which makes it sans serif. So a subsection of sans serif is Optima. We see a slight thick to thin transition on Optima. So Robin Williams says that it has the grace of old style, but it's still sans serif because there's no serifs on any of the letters. Next we have the script. Script type fonts look handwritten, whether they look like they're written with a script pen, a pencil, whether they are connected letters or not connected like in Bradley hand. So it doesn't really matter if it is completely cursive or not, as long as the font looks handwritten, that's what makes it script. And you definitely want to use it sparingly. It's not something we want to see in a large group of text. Lastly, we do have decorative. These are very thick and bold type fonts. They are not to be used in big texts, and we also want to use them sparingly like script, but you do want to use them boldly and use them to advertise things. So that is going to be all 6 type fonts, and I hope you learned something new.